Welcome back to Stay Tuned, Supporting Transition Age Youth. This podcast is brought to you by the Transitions to Adulthood Center for Research at UMass Chan Medical School, Department of Psychiatry, and in partnership with our research sponsor, the National Institute for Disability, Independent Living, and Rehabilitation Research. I'm your co-host, Gillian.
I'm your co-host, May. On today's episode, we are going to be taking some time to talk about how the holiday season is coming up, and it can be pretty stressful. I wouldn't even say coming up. We're already in it.
We're right in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, we've had Thanksgiving.
Eye of the storm.
Yes, New Year's is right around the corner. So that being said, we know it's a stressful time. It's winter. It gets dark real early around where we live, at least. And that can be really tough, especially for those with mental health conditions. I know for myself, this is definitely a trickier time of year to get through. And today, the plan is to just talk through some coping strategies and healthy outlets that can pull us away from that stress and anxiety and some of those symptoms that might intensify around this time, and to see how community can actually be a really great source of strength during this time as well.
Yeah, let's definitely get into it because I know that I can use some help in this area. I love the holidays, but it is definitely also stressful at the same time.
Totally. I am right there with you, Jillian. I know that not only is it the seasonal depression that's tough, but there's just a lot of expectations around this time of year, whether it's spending time with family or feeling left out or FOMO, even fear of missing out, because you don't necessarily talk to your family or you don't have people you feel like you can go to, or you have trouble reaching out to friends. It's tough for so many reasons. Financial strain as well. There's a lot of expectation to be a part of different events, which would require money or gift giving. That can be really anxiety inducing.
It really can.
So, yeah, with that being said, I think we're going to take today to walk through some areas that hopefully might be helpful in order to get through, again, what's sort of a trickier time for many of us, and take what you need and leave what doesn't feel applicable to you.
So one thing that comes up for me a lot are boundaries. And over time, I've learned how helpful it can be to set boundaries, but I also recognize how challenging it can be. Um, so we thought we'd just chat a little about that.
Yeah, I think that it can be tough if you're not used to setting boundaries with people, especially like if you're a people pleaser. It's really challenging speaking up for yourself, but it can be tough not only managing your anxiety around setting boundaries, but also managing the other person's reaction as well.
Yeah, and it's challenging. I mean, we can't control another person's reaction. But I know around this time of year, I'll get so busy and I'll try to go to as many events as I can and keep up with everything, but I can't do everything. Yeah, and I can't do it all. So I feel really badly when I have to cancel, and sometimes, somewhat irrationally, I'll think, maybe they're going to take it the wrong way or I won't get invited again. I know one thing that I found helpful is just explaining to the person what's going on, and people have been really receptive to that. And that's helped with a lot of my relationships. And honestly, it's also helped the other person because they see like, oh, hey, this is actually something that maybe I should try too in my life.
Mm.
So you
Yeah.
being a role model.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. It's like you're a role model for those around you by being the person to set those boundaries and showing others like you don't have to be a yes man. You don't just because people want you there doesn't mean as nice as that feels, it doesn't mean you're obligated to go and show up. We all have different social batteries. We all have different resources we can give. We all have our personal challenges and I think it's fair to be kind to ourselves about that and put yourself first, as cliche as it sounds. It's cliche for a reason. But yeah, and I think like in terms of how you can set a boundary, I think it's helpful to, like you said, be honest if you're comfortable about what's going on. Um, I think vulnerability can go a long way. And a script wouldn't be a bad idea either, if that's something you feel like you need to do.
Yeah, I actually did scripts for a long time. And I don't anymore, but I can say that they were so helpful.
Totally. And um, sometimes, or when you're super anxious, it's hard to form thoughts. It's hard to sound coherent and you forget things you wanted to say, words get jumbled. So a script is definitely a really great way of making sure you get everything you want to say out there. Um, because otherwise, yeah, anxiety can definitely take control and sort of mess up your message that you wanted to get across.
So one thing that I'm actually trying to figure out this week is the when I'm going to take time off from work. And I think for myself, that's important. So I still have time for self-care and some relaxation. So I'm looking forward to that and a little more time to spend with family and friends when they're in the area for the holidays will be nice.
Yeah, yeah, I think taking time off work, even if you don't necessarily have big plans or, plans to travel or plans to see people, I think that's still a great use of time to sort of recharge. Again, because this time of year can be so intense and obligations can pop out of everywhere. So it's nice to just take that time to slow down and do the things you want to do, and not just show up constantly for other people and other people's parties and it can all just feel like a lot and your time off your PTO is there for you to use. I think that's another important thing. I know it's really dependent on circumstance as well because let's remember not everyone has PTO to take off either. You might not be in a position to use that and that's okay too. But I think that's where boundary setting comes up again. And boundary setting comes up again here with family that may not be as understanding that you can't see them, or, just friends that are bummed out that you have to say no and decline an invitation. I think being upfront that, hey, I don't have the PTO to do this or participate. I have to put work first. I think that's a very understandable reason.
Yep, I completely agree. And always remember that resting is being productive. Like we all have to rest sometimes. So like setting those boundaries, even if it is just so you can have a little bit time to rest, can be really important and helpful.
Totally. And I think another thing that comes up a lot, I mean, it comes up year round, honestly, but the holiday season, there is always the expectation of gift giving and etiquette of like, well, they gave me a gift. Does that mean I owe them a gift now? Or, you know, feeling just overstretched financially. It's really anxiety provoking and very stressful. And um, I know for myself, I always love to give gifts. Like if I could give gifts more often, I would. I just can't sustain it financially. But it's a big part of my love language, and it feels bad to not be able to give in the ways that I want to be able to give to my friends and family. How do I cope with that? Not well. Instead, I am financially irresponsible. Don't be like me. Um, but
That's
yeah,
so
like
tough, though, if that's your love language.
it's like my love language is definitely a mix of acts of service and gift giving because to me acts of service can be a gift, so like I love cooking for others, but in a way like that takes a financial like I take a financial hit because I buy the ingredients and stuff, but I want to I can get away with gifting in that way because it's not as pricey as well, it can be pricey, but the goal is for it to not be as pricey as buying something at the store, you know?
Okay. So another thing that I come across with gifts is when I can't afford to get someone a gift, but I also don't want to tell them my financial situation and navigating that.
Totally. It's not something you owe people. Like,
I
and
know.
yeah, and if you're not comfortable, you're not comfortable, but I totally understand. Like it can be it can be really it can be sort of a loaded area for people to talk about because finances are such a huge source of stress for so many people. And I think it can be, for me at least, I'll speak from my perspective. It's not something I like to think about because I know it doesn't look good. It's not pretty. And it can be hard when there's people in your life who have so much more than you and painful. I think there is sort of a pain there as well because like unfortunately I do compare myself and I wish I had it easier, but I'm in the situation I'm in and it's it's tough to talk about, it's tough to acknowledge, and it's vulnerable
Mhm.
because then people make assumptions,
Yeah. And it's tough because I want to give them a gift too.
right?
So, yeah. I mean, one thing that I've done is like more DIY gifts. So I've made different like lip balms and body butters and like sugar scrubs, and they were actually pretty popular. So it was a
I
cost
bet.
way.
Yeah, no, people love homemade gifts. I feel like again, it's so cliche, but I would so much rather receive something that someone put so much love and thought into. I think that speaks a lot more to how much that person cares, than if you just bought something off like Amazon or.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think like everyone, I shouldn't speak in black or white. Many people are going to understand that it's really tough right now to get by and that gifts are definitely an extra thing that could add stress. And I think anyone worth keeping around would understand that and be respectful of that and um, be active to take the pressure off and say things like, you know, I got you something. I don't expect anything from you. Like that, it's all good. Like, but I just wanted to get you this thing, or I made you a little something. And um, even like having a conversation beforehand with your partner, with your family, your friends, like, we're not going to do gifts, or here's the budget. Those types of conversations I feel like can be really helpful too.
I agree. I love the budget conversation. Like, you can't get anything over this amount.
Yes. Yeah. That's super helpful.
I feel like also, I don't know about you, but I'll get invited to go to see like the Nutcracker or various shows, and that can be expensive as well. Or people just wanting when they're in town and wanting to go for brunch, and it all adds up, especially when you might already be buying gifts that month as well. So you're taking a hit from that too.
Yes, yeah, it's not just the gift giving, it's all the social obligations that come around this time and because it's cold out. No one wants to spend time at a free park or anything. So your only other options really, at least where I live, are like you said, go see a show, go to the movies, or go get dinner, brunch, or drinks or something. Um and it can be very burdensome on the wallet.
Yeah.
Um, so I feel you there for sure. And I don't think there really is an easy way around it, apart from saying like, sorry, I'm gonna have to skip. I've already, I have other things I need to spend money on this month, or, even not, you don't have to give a reason. You can just say no. I wish I could come, but I have something else to do.
Yeah.
Ugh, but
But
I
you can,
get it.
yeah. I know. So my friend recently asked me to go to something, but I couldn't afford it. And so she kept asking, and I was like, oh, no, thank you. I can't. And eventually I had to just be like, it's just too expensive for right now.
Mhm.
But then I threw out some cheaper and some free events that were going on. And so we ended up doing that instead, and they were a lot of fun. But
Yeah, I was actually just about to say as well, like if you like sometimes if a friend comes to you wanting to do a pricier activity that's out of your budget and you decline, I I feel like you still deserve to socialize. You still deserve to go out and do fun things. So maybe it's a matter of suggesting something cheaper or inviting them over and like cooking dinner at home together and you like split the cost of the groceries or something. I know that's like what I do in my personal life as well. But like finding an alternative, I think, is really important because you shouldn't have to miss out on like connecting with friends just because there's a high barrier to entry for certain activities you may want to do. Like just I think it just takes a bit of flexibility and creative thinking.
yeah, and it also shows the friend that you are really interested in hanging out.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. And this reminds me of our third spaces conversation we were having a little while ago, which I know we want to dedicate an episode to, but I'll briefly touch on how this just very much is evidence that like we need more third spaces, accessible places where people can go to connect and socialize without having to spend that much money, you know?
Yeah. Can we start a task force to get this going, please?
Would love.
Ah,
Yeah. And then speaking of spaces, I think finding safe spaces during this time of year is also really important. Um, whether that safe space is a physical space, an online space, or um, like, how do I phrase this? The space you create when you're with a specific person who makes you feel safe. That was a really convoluted way of saying a safe
it makes
person.
sense to me.
But yeah, I guess like there will be event or during this time of year, I'm sure events will pop up that whether it's, going back to your childhood home that is kind of tough for you, or just being in whatever place it is that brings up hard emotions. Um, it's important to also label some places that you do feel good in and to make sure you have adequate time in those spaces as well. I don't know if you have anything that you typically go to, Jillian.
Um, so for an external space, there's this one park near me. Um, and I've just designated as my safe space. And honestly, if I have to make a really hard phone call even, I will drive there and then make the call in my car. So I don't know. I just love it there. And then in general, like kind of a mobile safe space that I like. Um, I'm often wearing earbuds that have active noise cancellation, or no noise. I'm often wearing active noise canceling headphones or noise reducing earplugs because I have sensory sensitivities. So I have found that to be so helpful, especially for kind of like feelings of anxiety, and anything heated. It just calms me down instantly. I love it. But what about
Yeah,
you?
I can really, I relate a lot to what you said, actually. Safe spaces, just having those space, yeah, whatever it is, a park. I have a park near me that I'm convinced nothing bad could ever happen there. Or just even like my couch. I love my couch so much. It's the second I lay in it, I get my heat pad going, like we're good. Everything's gonna be okay. But it's those positive associations you make with certain places or things that can be really helpful. And maybe there is that call that you've been putting off or something difficult you're going through and you just need that extra bit of comfort to get you through it. Why not use it, you know?
Ah,
Um, yeah, there's definitely a lot of comfort that can be found in having safe spaces identified, and utilizing them when you can is really beneficial.
yeah. And to quickly add that, it could even just be not just, but it could be a virtual meetup or, a smaller get together and also flexible participation.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like maybe maybe there is an event and it is giving you a lot of anxiety to be there, or there's some other reason, mental health related, that you feel like you can't go, but you want to go. Maybe it's a matter of just stepping in for like 20 minutes, making an appearance, and then leaving and honoring when things become too much for you. But I think like there's a line there to be walked with avoidance
Yes.
versus genuinely feeling like you don't want to go. Because I think when you get to the point where it's like I want to go, but something mental health wise is holding me back, you might be walking the line of avoiding it.
Yeah. No, that's so true. I know for myself, like I'll tell myself I'm only going to go to something for a limited amount of time, but I also recognize that I'm someone that once I get there, I don't leave. So I think it must also depend on the person.
Yeah, you can almost like trick yourself and say
Yeah.
like I think bottom line, maybe set yourself a number, like a set amount of time. I want to stay for this amount. If it is an event you genuinely want to go to.
Mhm.
And then if it gets to that point and you're like, I'm having a good time, you don't want to leave, honor that, like stay,
Yeah.
But if you're
Yeah.
like, okay, it's getting to be too much, then, of course, you are an individual with autonomy, like leave.
Yep. Do what's best for you.
Do what's best for you. Exactly. I just bring up like avoidance because I know that it's come up in my life. It's definitely come up in peers' lives. Um, and you can sort of you can sort of trick yourself sometimes that you're doing what's best for you and you're putting yourself first when in reality you are encouraging unhealthy habits.
Yeah. Isolating can make things a lot harder.
Hmm. It's like in that moment, it might feel comforting and helpful in that moment to isolate and um, avoid whatever it is. But bigger picture wide, I guess what I do is I think about what I want my life to look like more broadly, or in a bigger picture sense. Do I want to be sociable? Do I want to have friends? Do I want to feel connected? And yeah, for me, the answers are yes to all those questions. And so, what actions support those goals? A lot of the time, it's not isolating.
Yeah, you described that so well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool.
I mean, it's definitely been one of my core issues because I mean, well, I have agoraphobia, so like a lot of my time is spent avoiding the outside world and or it used to be, I should say. I'm a lot better now. Um, but yeah, I've spent so much time avoiding and telling myself that I'm safe if I stay inside. It's what I need to do for my mental health. I can't go out. I can't like be like the other 20 something year olds. I'm my mental health, I can't cope with that. And that was definitely a false narrative I was telling myself, because it just felt unsafe. And something I needed to learn was that just because something feels unsafe doesn't mean it is unsafe. For me, my brain is not to be trusted. That's why I have a condition. Like, maybe if I didn't have a condition like agoraphobia, yeah, I could trust my takes. But unfortunately, if my brain is telling me something is unsafe, I should think a little critically about it?
Self-awareness is key here.
Exactly. Like that's you know yourself best.
Yeah.
And when you're ready to evaluate, like where, if you're happy with how things are for you, and evaluate, like, if you're okay with your patterns that you've fallen into, I encourage you to think about, you know, if you're doing what's good for you or not. I know I wasn't, and I still struggle.
Yeah, it's an ongoing struggle, I'm sure.
Totally. Sure is. Well, so we've talked about safe spaces. Another thing that could be helpful during this time is literally just building your own traditions as well. If for whatever reason you don't speak to your family or family is tough for you, whatever, um, having your own traditions to look forward to, I think, can be really helpful during this time to sort of move away and decenter family from this time of year if again that's tough for you. I know for myself, Thanksgiving has already passed, but every year my college friends put on a Friendsgiving, and it definitely takes a lot of the pressure off from my family Thanksgiving going perfectly. It sort of, how do I want to say this? Yeah, it sort of just takes off the pressure. Of my family Thanksgiving going perfectly because I know that I have Friendsgiving where that's consistently a safe space for me. And it's just nice to have that, and it's definitely become a tradition over the years.
That's really great. Yeah, I do Friendsgiving as well, and I find it so helpful. And it's just a really good opportunity to see everyone again and get together.
Yeah. And another nice thing about it is bring it back to the financial piece. It's um relatively cheap to participate in because usually it's like a potluck or something and you're
Yeah.
not like necessarily going out to a dinner. It can be hosted at anyone's house.
So true. Yeah. I'm also thinking, so for myself, I used to struggle with holidays a bit. Um, and now I've kind of recreated, I guess, both traditions, but how I remember Christmas, in more of a positive outlook. And now I love the holiday season. Some of the stuff I love to do is to go to like the holiday markets, and those are free. So meet up with friends or partner. What else? Going to see my nieces and nephews and like their holiday concerts. Those are a ton of fun. They are very early in the morning, but they are worth it. Or like Christmas Eve, I stay over my brother's house, and it's really nice because the kids and they're all excited about Santa and opening the gifts, and so it's just a really fun experience. And yeah, I love to take pictures and look back on them and just think about the positive memories, because that's what I want to focus on. And
Yeah, being really intentional and mindful about what you choose to take away from your experiences, I think is another good thing to keep in mind. Like, I think a lot of times the bad can overshadow really easily everything that's happened, but taking a second to be appreciative and relish in some of those positive, heartwarming moments that do pop up during the holidays is also really nice. Yeah, so I mean, we just went through a bunch of different strategies and shared a little bit of our lived experiences around how we get through this season. We know it's hard. I I'm right there with you. Whoever is listening to this, I am right there with you. Um, but hopefully some of the strategies we shared can inspire you to connect with people more who might be able to help you through whatever you're going through. Um, and I hope that you're inspired to, pick up some of these strategies. I think we've talked a lot about resources and different ways that people with family and supports can use certain strategies to cope and get through this tricky period of time.
yeah,
I don't, we haven't really addressed people who may not have family to lean back on or people in their life to go to during this time either. And we definitely want to make sure that they know we're thinking of them and that even if you are isolated from family and friends, that there are definitely resources and options out there for you to get connected and find safe spaces and supports for you. I think we were talking earlier about online resources. That's a big one. The Reddit community, I'm sure for whatever interest you have, there are people out there who also have that interest.
yep.
Um, Volunteering is huge, and finding like-minded individuals when you're there volunteering. Um, and then another thing is maybe it's a matter of being vulnerable with those around you who you do meet, and telling them what your situation is, because I think people really do want to help at the end of the day and do want to be there for someone who might be able to really use the extra support and love and care.
It can feel really isolating. But like you said, you're not alone, and there's other people going through similar things, and can say from experience that it does get better, and connect if you can. And try to have the happiest of holidays.
With that being said, I hope that this episode was helpful, that there is at least something that you can take with you. If it's not an actual hard skill, maybe it was something we said that you related to and made you feel less alone.
Whether you celebrate or not, we hope you have a great holiday season, and we'll see you next time.
Sounds good to me. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. If you would like to contact us, you can email us at staytuned@umassmed.edu and check out the Transitions ACR website at umassmed.edu/transitionsacr. Thanks for being here, and be sure to stay tuned for next time.